What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another show. Listen, today I have a show that I've just watched. It was more of a documentary about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and the Power Rangers season after that, which was called The Dark Side of the Power Rangers. Now, I have a lot to say about this because I have met two of the Rangers that was actually on the show, that was on the documentary. I met two of them, which was Nakia Burrise and Jason Funk. Now I know y'all know that I've told y'all about this, and see him on there to talk about this was kind of sad, and it kind of hit me hard because it's like, I may not know them personally, but knowing them enough to see them on here to talk about friends they have lost, it just hits differently. If you didn't know them, you would probably have compassion, but you'll be like, okay, I feel something for them, but then you'll be like, okay, I'm going back to my regular life. However, if you met the people and knowing the situations that they're going through, and not only the situations they're going through, you kind of connected with them on something like this, it makes it different. It hits differently because when they had, we'll get there. I'll talk about all that later, but let's just get to the situation. Now, all of the Rangers that they could get came out and talked about their time on the set and how they got hired and how the show changed their lives for good or for bad. Most of them, it started out with Jason, well, excuse me, let me call them by their real names. Austin St. John, Walter Jones, Amy Jo Johnson, David Yost, and Tweet Train. Now, those five started out. Now, there was one Ranger who we none of us knew about until you saw the what was it, the untelevised pilot episode, which was this young lady named Audrey Dubois. Now, excuse me, Audrey Dubois, she was the original Yellow Ranger. She only filmed the first episode, and which was the pilot. But after that, they had to, she asked for a raise, because she knew what her worth was. She was on set. Now, let me get to what she was saying. She had said that they were on set. Now, they were in the desert. Now, they shot most of the scenes around the command center. Now, you guys saw, I forget what that building is actually called, but it was the command center in the TV, in the show. It was always out in the desert. So when she said they were out there filming, there was this guy that had on a putty suit, and it was a wetsuit because she said the temperatures were like 100 to 110, I think, if I'm not mistaken. She's like, people were so hot that this man ended up having a heat stroke in his suit. I don't know whether I can't remember whether she said it was the director or the producer, but she said it was some guy that said you will get $100 if you take his suit off, put it on, so we can continue filming. This right here let me know what kind of slave camp they were in, and there was no other way I could say it. This was a slave camp. Audrey Dubois saw the writing on the wall. She said, if I'm gonna do this, I need y'all to pay me more than what y'all are paying me. And at this point, Haya Saban tells us, like, you challenge me, I will show you what I could do. She left. They didn't even get a chance to fire her. She left. So that's how we got Tweet Train as Trini for the Yellow Ranger. I would just want to say this. after hearing most of the Rangers stories and how they was treated on this set for our entertainment, pissed me off when I first heard about this in the early early 2000s, because I was wondering why most of them did not return. And if you guys notice, Nakia Burrise, the Yellow Ranger from Zeo to Turbo, she did not come back in any capacity. And I did ask her about it. I said, well, did you not want to come back? And she said, no, I was willing and open to coming back. They never asked her to come back. And I was pissed about that too. So, what I'm pissed about is Hayam Saban. Hayam Saban took these teenagers at the time, because at the time the show came on, I was 13 years old, 1993. I was 13. He took these teenagers, gave them contracts. They were not unionized. They were on sets for a brutal amount of hours that they should not have been on. They were getting pennies on a dollar. And I'm serious. What a normal actor would probably make in a movie for their time and hard work if they was unionized, they were getting not even near that. Our Nikia told us her first paycheck was 700 and something dollars, and that was before taxes. So you mean it? I don't even know how high California taxes are. I can't, I can't tell y'all, but I can tell you the stuff out there is very expensive, even to this day. Back then, when I was in California I went out there for a couple of jobs for acting and going to Gower Studios. That was this 7-Eleven right around the corner. The milk in there was like $5. It was $5. You can go, if I was here at home, they're probably, the milk in the gas station would have probably been like $2. Compared now, I don't even know what it is out there. So when she said that, I was just like, you guys are really not making nothing. And you guys are entertaining us, putting your bodies and stuff on the line. Hayam Saban literally is the epitome of evil. This man sat here and made money off the back of these people, did not give them what they was worth. He took and what was and see in Audrey's case, he started this whole trend. You confront me, you will be replaced. And she got replaced with Tweet. So Tweet is technically the second Yellow Ranger. Once once everything was said and done, we got to season two. Twee, Austin, and Walter end up leaving. And there was a whole thing about, now there was this whole controversy that was going around about, why those three left. From their mouths, it was supposed to be a pact of all six, supposed to be walking off set. Now let Jason David Frank, David Yost, and Amy Jo Johnson, they said they never said that. None of them ever said that. Coming out of David's mouth, out of his own mouth, he was like, I'm living in my car. Why would I, give up a job like this and I'm staying in my car? I'm literally, you know, there. Walter and Austin basically were roommates. And they didn't even have, when they came home, Walter, out of his own mouth, said they barely watched the show because they were working so much on the set. So when they left, they was replaced with Steve Cardenas, Johnny Yambosh, and Karen Ashley. Now, I met Steve Cardenas and Karen Ashley. Love them both. They're both really cool people, but I love me some Karen. Karen is a trip.